In this video, I'll break down how and why GPTZero lost traffic to ZeroGPT. If you're familiar with AI content detectors, you're probably familiar with GPTZero and ZeroGPT. They offer similar products geared towards AI content detection. More interestingly, ZeroGPT outranks GPTZero for AI detector, which is the main target keyword for both companies. To make it more interesting, the CEO of GPTZero says that ZeroGPT is a copycat of their product. And since they got copied and outranked, ZeroGPT has gone on to get more traffic and more rankings from Google search results. And this is unfortunately an increasingly common problem in the software space. It's never been easier to copy someone's software. That new software can also start to take your traffic by copying your marketing strategies. So an ambitious company can essentially use everything you've built as a blueprint, take it, run with it, and build on top of it. That seems to be what happened here. And I've actually seen several other cases where a new competitor essentially just copies something that's working, takes it, runs with it, and then their SEO strategy eventually manages to surpass the original product and take over the search results. And because it's getting easier to recreate software products, we're probably going to see this happening more often going into the future. So in this video, I'll break down what I'm seeing between the two and try to explain why I think GPTZero is continuing to lose ground at around 4 million in monthly organic traffic, according to Ahrefs, while their competitor is at 6.7 million, and a few months ago even hit close to 10 million in monthly organic traffic. The CEO is clearly so frustrated with this problem because he's offering over 100K in compensation for whoever can help him solve this problem. Obviously, this is what incentivized me to make the video, but after digging into it, I found that it's actually a really good example of stuff that I've been talking about lately, which has a lot to do with how you're spreading out your rankings across your website. The only unfortunate part about putting up a bounty for SEO strategy is they're going to be getting tons of ideas, and it's going to be very difficult to determine what is actually good advice. For example, someone told the CEO that a .com domain just has better domain authority. So now they're going to have hundreds of random ideas, all claiming that is the reason why they're not ranking. So I'll do my best to try and prove why they're not ranking using real world data instead of just relying on my opinions and experience. So let's get into it. This will serve as a good case study of how a competitor can copy your product and outpace you on search if you're not careful. First up, I'll explain my stance regarding what I believe the problem is, and my findings are largely from things that I tested myself. So this chart here is a website that I worked on recently. I won't disclose the name of the website or get into too many details, but I actually started working on the website around here. And as you can see, it took some time to figure out what was going to work and move the needle. During this time, rankings and traffic were continually declining, and I was testing out strategies and ideas and trying to figure out what would work. And then finally, I started to figure out a couple of things that were working, and we doubled down on those ideas, and it led to impressive traffic and ranking increases. This website was in the software space, and they're actually a media publisher, which makes it even harder for them to compete with actual software companies. And of course, I wasn't the only person working on this project. There was a whole talented team working on this website every day. But in summary, I found things that are working very well, which is definitely a challenge in modern SEO, where we've got AI overviews and the SERPs constantly changing and more algorithm updates than ever before. Most publishers are actually losing traffic. So again, I can't go into too much detail about the specifics of this project, but I can share the things that I learned and the perspective that I gained while figuring out what was actually working. That project actually changed the way that I think about SEO. And weirdly enough, the things I'm about to say, a lot of people will probably find controversial. For me, the main reason why GPTZero got outranked for their main keyword, AI detector, has everything to do with traffic versus pages. So that is the relationship between how much organic search traffic they're getting and their rankings versus the amount of pages that they have on their website. Right off the bat here, GPTZero shows 223 index pages, and based on search results, it looks like they actually have closer to 500 or more pages. I didn't actually crawl the site to find out for sure, and ZeroGPT currently has 99 pages. Checking the search results, it says it's about 174. Again, I didn't actually crawl the website to find out for sure, but basically, GPTZero has twice as many pages as ZeroGPT. Taking a quick look at the backlink profile, you can see that they have a similar domain rating and similar referring domains. GPTZero has a domain rating of 74 with a little over 7,000 referring domains. And ZeroGPT, named the Copycat competitor, has a DR of 76 and a little over 6,000 referring domains. GPTZero claims that ZeroGPT employs black hat SEO tactics to help them rank, but I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm going to focus exclusively on white hat SEO ranking factors. So if you look at the last 2 years, you'll see that the total pages for GPTZero has gradually increased up to 223 pages, and the total pages on ZeroGPT has also gradually increased, but still they only have half the pages. And that's the part that doesn't make a lot of sense to most people. Almost everybody in the SEO space assumes that creating more pages is going to get them more traffic, and that is not always the case. So let's take a look at some data. This is a visualizer that I built, and it analyzes the relationship between organic pages and traffic using the Ahrefs Top Pages report. It also works with Search Console. This tool basically provides an overview of when dramatic ranking changes happened that correlate between pages and traffic. This chart is very scribbly, but I'll zoom in and I'll explain what's going on here. So I'm going to zoom in on the first couple months out of the year where traffic was increasing, right up until about March 26, 2025, and things seem to go a little bit downhill after that for GPTZero. This is only the last couple of months. This data is just to highlight the relationship between traffic and pages. So a walkthrough of the chart, the blue line is the page change rate. So that is the percentage change of whether pages increased or decreased. Because there's a little over 200 pages on GPTZero, a page change rate of 0.5% would be about 1 page. Then the orange line is the traffic change rate, which is the percentage change in total site traffic. Then the green dotted line is your traffic per page, and that is a very important line because it shows you when your traffic per page greatly decreases or increases based on what you're doing on your website. Then in the background of this chart, there are green lines and red lines. These represent positive ranking states and negative ranking states. They basically just highlight when traffic per page was going up. That gives it a green background. And then if traffic per page is declining, it gives it a red background. The main consideration to keep in mind while looking at this kind of data is Google algorithm updates. So you might see dramatic changes in traffic regardless of your pages around the times of major algorithm updates. Overall, there is a pattern here. Almost every time where the page change rate is stable, traffic per page starts to go up and total site traffic starts to go up. Then as soon as new pages get indexed, and because this is Ahrefs data, that would mean it started to rank in the top 100 for at least one keyword. As soon as that starts to happen, usually within a few days, the traffic per page starts to decline, and that typically causes a trend where traffic continues to decline until the page change rate stabilizes again. Here's an example of a few days of data. March 6th, the page change rate was 0. March 7th, page change rate was 0. March 8th, the page change rate was 0, and it's starting to enter a positive ranking state, and traffic per page is going up. March 9th, same thing, no new pages, traffic is climbing. On March 10th, a page gets added, no immediate effect yet. On March 12th, a page gets added, again, no immediate effect here. Then on March 14th, another page gets added. Then all of a sudden, the site starts to lose traffic per page, and overall traffic to the site decreases up until March 16th, where it looks like a few pages got dropped. And then on March 17th, another page gets dropped. Then the page change rate has stabilized again and traffic per page is climbing. And this kind of back and forth between gaining and losing traffic and rankings is always happening behind the scenes. And what I see happening all the time is websites continue to add more pages to their website, and they add more pages faster than what their site can keep up with. And they gradually lose more and more traffic per page. And then they eventually get hit and start to lose a lot of traffic quickly. Zooming back out, now that it makes a little bit more sense, you can see the green dotted line, which is traffic per page, is continuing to decrease over time for GPTZero. and it's made some recovery lately, but overall, it's safe to say that the new pages being created are having more of a negative effect than a positive effect. I can also switch the time frame to weekly or monthly, which helps cut out a lot of the noise. Most of the time, week by week, the page change rate is increasing, which means new pages are being added to the site, and every time more pages are added, traffic declines, and the total traffic per page declines. Monthly, it tells the same story. More pages being added, less traffic being received. This is where a lot of people start to think that I'm crazy. This phenomenon seems to be happening on almost every site that I look at, especially the ones that are losing traffic. There is an exception where if a site fails to produce any new pages for usually around 3 to 6 months, then things start to drop off as well, which is likely due to inactivity. If a website is not creating any new pages, it might seem like it's not being maintained. So there is a sweet spot of how many pages should be made. Creating new pages is not inherently bad. The problem is creating new pages that don't bring in traffic and don't help you rank. When you create a new page that isn't helpful in terms of bringing in new traffic or helping your other pages rank, it's actually taking away from your traffic and rankings on your performing pages to support new pages that don't perform. With that concept in mind, let's look at how that is actually manifesting on the two websites. The main reason why an existing page is going to lose traffic versus gaining traffic when creating new pages is because those new pages are being linked to from either your pages that are performing well or they're being linked to from your main website navigation. I'll explain the navigation one first because it's a little easier to understand. This is GPTZero's referring domains over time. It's always gradually increasing due to their link building efforts and also a side effect of just being on the web and being a popular product that a lot of people are using. Naturally, it's going to get linked to by other websites. And when most websites get a backlink, more often than not, it's going to go to their homepage. So we've got a constant supply of referring domains, which increase the link juice or PageRank metrics of the homepage. And then the homepage sends it out to everywhere that it links to. And because the navigation menu is on the homepage, everything in the navigation counts as an outlink to a different page. Even pages that aren't directly linked to from the navigation, such as content in the news section, is still receiving that link juice from the homepage. And then the news page splits it up to all of its blog posts. So basically, the more links you have in your main navigation, the more you are dividing up your link juice resources, which is coming in from your stream of new backlinks. Where most people are getting it wrong is they're sending their link juice to other places faster than they can bring it in. Anything that's in the navigation menu gets weighted heavily in terms of distribution of the PageRank or link juice. So you have to make sure that everything you're linking to is worth linking to and is going to bring in new traffic. Otherwise, you're essentially just giving away your hard-earned link juice to places that aren't going to help you. And because navigation menus are on every page of your website, it creates a multiplying effect where every page is essentially linking to the pages in your navigation. The same also goes for your footer links. The more places you link out to, the more your link juice gets spread out. And if your home page is the main page you're using to rank for your target keyword, which is the case for GPTZero, you'll eventually cross the threshold where you've linked out enough to lose rankings. That phenomenon is called CheiRank, and it's the opposite of PageRank, and nobody really talks about it anymore, but I find that it's still very much in effect. The search results for AI content detector are very competitive. Everyone ranking for this search is spending a lot of money to make sure that their website shows up. That likely involves a link building budget, a well-resourced SEO team, content marketing efforts, and internal linking efforts. So essentially every drop of link juice matters for this homepage. It can't really afford to be linking out to so many places in both the navigation menu and the links throughout the page. You can cross-reference the gradual increase in pages against the gradual decline in rankings for AI detector. Over the same time frame, pages increased gradually, and rankings continued to decline. GPTZero once ranked number 1, but this whole time their competitor ZeroGPT has ranked number 1, while GPT is losing rankings for their most important keyword. Now let's look at how many outgoing links are on the page. Using the Ahrefs toolbar, everything highlighted yellow is an outlink on the page. You can see they're linking out here to all of their sub-tools. They're linking out to all of their integrations, linking out to customer service, linking back to their homepage, which is kind of strange, linking out to their dashboard, their Chrome extension, a Substack post, writing reports, and more. The only places really worth linking to from the homepage are their products. Everything else is basically just giving PageRank away. On their homepage, they're giving this Substack a ton of link juice. Now let's look at the competitor ZeroGPT. I'll toggle on the links to highlight them, and let's take a look at where they're linking out to. They're also linking out to their subtools, and they're linking out to their pricing page. This button also links to pricing. Then they're linking out to WhatsApp, which probably isn't a good idea. More links to their subtools, and there's no links anywhere in their FAQ section. Their navigation menu also links out to far fewer places, as well as their footer. We already know ZeroGPT has half the pages with a similar amount of referring domains and backlinks. So they're also getting a stream of referring domains over time. And they're obviously doing link building to influence how many links they have coming in, but they are far leaner with how they are linking out. But it goes further than that. They also have a multilingual setup, which allows them to rank in other countries and get links from a wider range of websites. If you look at ZeroGPT's top pages, you'll see that they're primarily focused on ranking their homepage and their product pages in different languages. Then if you look at GPTZero, they're taking more of a content marketing approach. So instead of focusing on ranking in different countries, they're trying to rank their blog posts and they're writing about reviews of other products. So the two strategies in play can be summarized as GPTZero focusing on a traditional content marketing approach, which involves constantly adding more links, such as linking out to new educators' pages, new blog posts, and new resources that are constantly being added to the site. So GPTZero is spending their PageRank on a content marketing focus, and ZeroGPT is focusing almost exclusively on their home pages and product pages in a multilingual setup. And they don't appear to be doing much on-page content marketing at all. It looks like they may have not even made a blog post since 2024. In summary, they both have a similar amount of juice coming in. ZeroGPT is spending it much more efficiently on their product and home pages in a multilingual setup, and GPTZero seems to be passing out rankings to many more types of pages. A lot of those new pages are unlikely to bring in revenue with a similar performance to the homepage or product pages. And this isn't a new phenomenon. Most websites appear to be doing this. It seems like everybody has forgotten about foundational ranking strategies, and everyone is overly focused on content marketing. And most of the advice that you get is going to be around how to create content better, how to optimize it better. And hardly anybody is focusing on site architecture because we all believe that creating more pages is somehow going to get us more traffic. And what happens more often than not is the opposite, where the site loses traffic at the same rate that pages are being created. I'm not saying that making new pages is bad or wrong. It just has to be done right. Any new page that's created with SEO goals in mind should be getting traffic. New pages that are created and allowed to be indexed should be doing a decent job of getting new traffic into the website, and then they should be linking to the places that matter, like your product pages. Weirdly enough, most sites are doing it backwards, where instead of creating new pages and linking up to their product pages, money pages, or service pages, whatever you want to call them, they're doing the opposite, where they're creating new pages and linking out to them from their performant pages. And then those pages eventually lose rankings over time. And then instead of looking at that correlation, people will blame algorithm updates and changes on the SERPs. And they'll get mad at Google, saying that we did everything Google told us to do and we still got punished for it. And we ended up losing traffic. And when the idea that making all the new content might have been the exact reason they lost the traffic, it's almost immediately dismissed, because it goes against everything that's been taught to us from many people in the SEO industry. When it comes to creating content with the goal of gaining more traffic and rankings, it needs to be done much more strategically. Creating new pages on your website just because you can is not always going to pay off, especially if the keywords you're targeting don't align with your website and then you go and link out to everything, regardless of whether it brings in traffic or not. To fix the issue, GPTZero needs to streamline what pages they're linking out to and what pages they're allowing to rank. Strategies like content optimization don't even matter until that has been accomplished. Content optimization should be done after critical ranking issues are resolved. Then you can start squeezing the juice. The good news is that your competitors aren't perfect either. For example, ZeroGPT appears to have lost significant traffic per page recently, and GPTZero is starting to see some improvement. Zooming in on ZeroGPT around this time and filtering to new pages will show you what did they create that hurt their traffic, and it looks like it might have been their new plagiarism checker page, which was not a bad idea. It just means they've created a new product page and they've dispersed some PageRank from their top pages into their new product page, the plagiarism checker. So they're going to take a short-term hit for that, but as they acquire more links and don't push new pages, they will recover, and it looks like that's starting to happen. Right now, this page is just starting to rank, and the URL rating is climbing up. So I wouldn't be surprised if in a few months, this page starts to become a competitor for other plagiarism checkers. To me, this is another very straightforward case of how impactful site architecture and how pages link to one another and the rate of which new pages are being created matters so much more than any kind of content marketing strategy. Maybe I'm just the crazy one, but I feel like nobody is looking at this stuff. I could be wrong, but I've actually applied these principles to other websites and seen excellent results from doing it. So I believe in this phenomenon, regardless of what anybody tells me. This was a really fun example to look at. It's a very common problem in the software space, and there's a lot to learn from looking at the relationship between traffic and pages, site architecture, link building, and internal links. With the rise of AI technology, it's never been easier to copy other people's products. And then if their marketing strategies are more effective, they'll take your customers and market share away from you, which is why it pays to look at the data, test things out on your own website, and don't just blindly believe things that you read on popular blogs like Search Engine Land without testing it for yourself first. Website operators have the opportunity to be creating content much more strategically and reap the benefits of a strategic approach, while their competitors are pumping out more content than ever before, losing traffic, and blaming Google for it. That's it for this video. Hope you found it insightful. See you in the next one.